Hey guys, happy Monday and welcome to another episode of the SoFLo Sports Show. It's your host, 305 Sports Babe, and co-host Lou from Dade.
Yes.
Tonight we have such a fantastic show planned for you, and we're excited that you're here.
That's right. We're going to be joined by one of our favorite guests, Perkins, is going to be joining us shortly. But before we do that, I want to talk about what's going on in the world, the NBA, the NHL. Some great series. We're approaching the conference finals in both sports there. So been some great series, like I mentioned.
Yeah, so I got to start off by just saying, obviously you don't like the Knicks.
I do not.
You hate all New York teams minus St. John's. Is that fair to say?
That is fair to say.
You only stomach St. John's because your love for me.
That's true. And we got Desi in the room, who's from Boston. He's a Celtics fan, and of course Russ, who the Knicks just eliminated his Sixers. So, but yes, I do not like the Knicks at all whatsoever.
So I don't like the Knicks either, but so many of my St. John's brothers and family are huge Knicks fan. So I'm so happy for you guys. You have swept the 76ers, and on top of that, the Flyers are out. So thoughts and prayers are with our buddy Russ and all our other Philadelphia fans because it has been a rough week for you.
Absolutely. No, you're right. Big Oats also. Jacob Rodriguez, wife should have joined the Marines. Absolutely. She flies Black Hawk helicopter, so that's pretty cool.
Hawks, yeah.
We'll get to her in a second. We got George joining the show from the Finns Faithful.
George, hey George, hey brother. George. Everyone here. All right, I started the Knicks. They're all mad. Knicks. I despise the Knicks. They hate the Knicks. They took my 76ers,
Hey, the Finns Faithful, by the way, has our good friend Josh Moser on after later
Let's
tonight.
Check it out.
Check that out for sure.
Especially since the Marlins are not playing tonight. They're traveling.
Yeah.
And so Lou does like you do the bracket, the pool every year.
I did.
And so when I did mine, you have nothing to do with mine, but and then you looked at mine and I have the Knicks in the finals.
You have the Knicks in the finals.
You made such a nasty comment.
I didn't believe they would get there.
You said, why the Knicks? Da, 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 da. And I what did I say? I said, mind your business. And now, how's your bracket looking?
Well,
how's your bracket looking,
but
Sparky?
you have to add that you did have the Nuggets beating the Knicks, and that's obviously not going to happen. I also had the Nuggets. Desi, you'll like the fact that I had the Nuggets beating the Celtics, but of course, Russ's Philadelphia 76ers took care of them.
Yes, and hockey, the stinking Canadians. Okay, as long as a Canadian team does not win the Stanley Cup, Carolina Hurricanes are hot. The Colorado Avalanches are hot. So, you know what? If the Sabres kind of like mess one up, it is still a Buffalo team. As long as an American team ends up winning, I will be okay. Our brother Finn Sammy in the house.
Finn Sammy?
Hello, my brother. So yeah, and then another news with the NBA.
Well, before you mentioned hockey, so I got to talk about it. You mentioned the two hot teams at the moment, the Carolina Hurricanes and the Colorado Avalanche over on the other side.
Yeah.
Those two teams appear for a collision course in the Stanley Cup final. Of course, we are missing our Florida Panthers, the two-time defending Stanley Cup champions, so they will not be hoisting that Lord Stanley Cup this year. But as mentioned, the Carolina Hurricanes, who the Panthers dispatched in the last two postseasons, they are primed to get to the Stanley Cup. And the Colorado Avalanche have really been the best team in hockey all year long.
Yeah, they've been really.
So, that could be a tremendous matchup. It'll be sad that our team won't be represented, but it should be a great matchup if it ends up that way.
So our buddy Robert Tracy, we have something in common with him. Good evening. All I have right now is the Marlins. Our Marlins. We were there Friday night with Robbie Snellen's debut, MLB debut. He had a rough first inning, but he looked okay. And then we were there yesterday with Sandy. Yeah, I love the Marlins. They get me mad, right? And especially this year, up and down with Jacksonville. This player's going, this player's dropping, on all this. But it's okay, right? It is okay. There are so many teams in the MLB as a whole that are at like that 500 mark, including us. We're like there. So it kind of makes it for a fair playing ground that anybody can do anything, have a great series, a few series, and catch up some ground. So
yeah, we just entered May, so you got a whole season left. Before you know it, yes, we're without the Heat, without the Panthers, but the boys of summer are here. The Marlins will be hopefully playing meaningful baseball deep into the summer, so we hope that's the case.
And then Inter Miami, Cato in the house. Cato, don't forget her Inter Miami.
She's
been to the new stadium. We have not, but she's been there. She's taken pictures with that. I know she loves her Inter Miami and her Messi. They are still there.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
the NBA, OKC is dominating, as are the Knicks. The Knicks are already in the conference finals. OKC is 1 win away from sweeping the Lakers out of the playoffs.
And the Knicks are without OG. OG is like
that's huge,
and that's They
get him back. That could be a tremendous factor. But I would actually favor them over either the Pistons or the Cavs. I actually think the Cavs are going to win that series. I think that series is going 7, and I have the Cavs coming up with the upset there. But either way, the Knicks should be the favorite to advance to the NBA Finals. And on the other side,
we also found out. Sorry, I want to say before they had the NBA lottery for the draft lottery. The Heat they got the number 13 pick. So at the number 13 pick, mark my words, Zuby Edgeford, St. John's will be the news.
Too early for him.
I'm putting it out there into the world, into existence. So next year,
I know you're a homer, but he's not projected to go that.
So next year, your Miami Heat will have Zuby Edgeford and Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Well, we'll take Giannis. I don't know about Zuby. He's probably not going to be there at that. Well, he'll be going later in the draft, not at 13. Sorry to ruffle your feathers there, but the Thunder are absolutely steamrolling so far, 7-0, and again 1 win away from getting rid of the Lakers over in the West. But I'm looking at the Spurs and the Knicks potentially in a rematch of the 1999 finals.
Wild.
Wembanyama got ejected from the game last night, which allowed the Timberwolves to come back and win that game. But he'll be back for Game 5. He was not suspended. And again, I think you're looking at the matchup. Look, Wembanyama is a special player. He's a giraffe looking of a man. He's huge. Nice, he does it all. At just 22 years old, he does it all. He's a good guy. Good image for the league, and even now he could play to the villain part since he got ejected from the game.
Those elbows were flying.
He was hoisting he was egging on that Minnesota.
We have a prediction: OKC Pistons finals, in my opinion.
It could
very possible.
Could very well be, but Wembanyama was egging on that Minnesota crowd last night, and I really believe that we're heading towards the Spurs-Knicks NBA Finals. It'd be great for the ratings, right? Yeah. As much as I despise the Knicks, anytime the Knicks are in the finals and Madison Square Garden
the best place in the world
is getting championship caliber games. By the way, those ticket prices will be
out the
roof. I mean, I don't even want to see what a ticket price to the NBA Finals. The Knicks have not been there in many, many years.
Well, here's the good thing. Those Knicks Mets fans, all the money that the Mets fans are not spending on going to Citi Field that they've been saving because they do not want to see the Mets, they can use to go get their Knicks semifinals and finals tickets, because those tickets, my gosh, are going to be crazy.
No, they'll be incredible. But I think we're headed towards that. I think we're headed towards a Knicks Spurs NBA Finals, and it should be a great one.
I don't hate it. In other news, you guys know this week is a big week. It's actually becoming bigger and bigger and bigger every year. The NFL schedule release, and now you're starting to get some rumors. We just found out it's official that the Bills will have week 2 Thursday Night Football at their new stadium, which is perfect weather in Buffalo in September, as we did last year. The big one I'm looking forward to is I would love the Mexico City game against the 49ers. It is projected to be a November game, maybe December, but it's really supposed to be in November. And that's one. I know we're not going to leak what we're doing yet. That's going to come Thursday. But I have never been to an international game. I would love to go to Mexico.
And if you're going to go to one, it's right across the border. So,
adios.
You're well versed on your Spanish now.
I am fluent.
I've taught you a little bit.
You didn't teach me anything. My goodness, I spoke it before you.
Yes, but
please.
No, that'll be good. The leaks are coming out. I know that it's planned leaks that are coming out.
Claro. I'm going to speak Spanish the rest of the show.
Thank you, Ashley. But we have the Giants. They're going to be hosting the Cowboys in a division rivalry that first Sunday of the year.
Semana in September.
Yes. Okay. Enough of that.
All right. You're SAP buttons.
Exactly.
All right. Enough of that. So our guest is here.
Perfect.
Let's bring him in. All right.
That is bringing up.
So, guys, real quick, the schedule, again, it will be Thursday. You're going to hear rumors leading up to it. Please do not fall for the rumors, because it was this time last year that there was a rumor that the Dolphins were opening up in Pittsburgh. And this one was like, we got to get the Pirates tickets. Pittsburgh's going to be amazing in September. And then what happened? It was so wrong. We froze our butts off in December. So, guys, until the fat lady sings, until it's official, don't believe a lot of these leaks.
That was unbelievable.
That was crazy.
So we got to see PNC Park. Unfortunately, it was completely covered in snow. The Roberto Clemente statue is coming with snow all over it. It was just
But it would have been so perfect in September. We would have won in September. We would have got that win in September.
We might have with Aaron Rodgers, rusty bones. But
Chris is laughing.
Without further ado,
let's bring him in.
Let's bring on our guest. You know him from the Sun Sentinel. He's a Dolphins insider, covers the team for the Sun Sentinel for many years now. His second tour duty with the Sun Sentinel covering the Dolphins. He's also on the Dolphins Deep Dive with Perk. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, making his third appearance on our show, we are graced by the amazing, the fantastic. There you see him, Chris Perkins. Chris, welcome to the show.
Hey, I'm sorry for being late. You know what? It wouldn't let me in for some reason. It just didn't let me in. So it kept saying it had to upload previous broadcasts. I've never had that happen. It took like an hour, almost an hour. So I apologize, but I'm here now.
No. I think Ashley put the password in Spanish. She's on the Spanish trip right now, so there might have been a little bit the delay.
I was also, speaking into existence how I want Giannis Antetokounmpo here next year. I want St. John's, Zuby. So we were just speaking things into existence, right?
Yeah.
And so now it's good to have you. Good to have you.
Yeah, Perk, you've been busy. So go ahead. Sorry.
No, I said it's good to be back. Go ahead.
No, we'd love to have you. So thank you again for coming on with us. You've been very busy covering, obviously, the draft. You were there all 3 nights, getting the sound bites after every pick after all the selections were made. You were just this past weekend over at the Dolphins rookie minicamp. And a couple weeks back, you were covering the F1. Horrible excitement, by the way. How was that F1 coverage?
Man, I love F1. And you know what I tell everybody? So I'm not an F1 fan. I'm a Miami Grand Prix fan. And I compare it to like if you go to a Super Bowl party and you're not a football fan, but you can go to socialize, you can go to see the halftime show, you can go to see the commercials. So that's what I'm at for F1. It's not necessarily the racing, it's the crowd and the food and the environment and the people and all that. So that's what I report on. But look, hats off to Steve Ross, because you brought us the tennis, you brought us the F1 racing. Now, if you could bring us a playoff victory, that would be nice. But, I would like to cover a playoff victory in the NFL for the first time since 2000. So that would be nice, Steve Ross. Yeah.
Incredible. I still see Lamar Smith running towards that end zone in overtime, but it's been a long, long time. Yeah, that end zone in that building now has a roof over it and a whole bunch of other changes.
And Chris, with the F1, were you able to go in one of the cars? Like, I envisioned them as like Mario Kart. Did you get a chance to go in one of the cars and take a test drive, or not this time?
No, I did. For the first time. So this was my third time covering F1, the third of the 5 that they've had. And so Halfley and Sully were there. They were taking their hot lap. I saw Chop Robinson, Zach Sealer, T-Dot, Terrell Dodson. Who else was taking the hot lap? It seems like somebody else. But, yeah, the players were there. Players were there on Wednesday or Thursday interacting with some of the drivers. So, Quinn Ewers was out there and Juju Brents was out there. They had Riley Patterson was out there. I'm trying to think who else was out there. AJ Henning was out there. So they had a nice collection of players, a nice Dolphins representation. Oh, Malik Willis was out there. I'm burying the lead. Look at me. That's a good journalist, right? Malik Willis was out there with the drivers also. So, they always have good interaction with a good Dolphins presence at the F1.
Okay, perfect. All right, and so before we discuss, this past weekend's rookie camp and your thoughts on the 2026 overall draft, I want to talk in the upcoming schedule, of course, as well. I want to take you back to the war room and specifically who was in John Eric Sullivan's circle of trust. Obviously, you got the general manager Kyle Smith in that room. Dan Marino was there. Obviously, Coach Halfley. But I want to know, and the reason why I asked the question, you see Kyle Smith, this is when they were making that trade with the Dallas Cowboys for number 11 to drop back to 12 and getting those 2 fifth-rounders back in that trade. But I want to ask, and the reason why I want to ask this is because at the presser after night 3, Jeff Halfley was quoted as saying that I thought Sully did a good job with this draft. How involved was Jeff Halfley? Did he have a stamp on making these picks? Obviously, Sullivan does have the final say. But who else was in that circle? Who else was maybe having their influence in the players that were picked that night and throughout the draft?
Lou, we don't know yet. And so all we know is that, I asked him about Troy Aikman before the draft, and he said that Troy would be in the war room, but he wouldn't be consulted on picks. I asked him about Steve Ross and who had the final say on picks, and Sully said he had the final say on picks. So that's all we know. We don't know who is in the circle of trust, how big the circle of trust was. We don't know if Half had major input on the defensive players and Slowick had major input on the offensive players. Bobby Slowick, the offensive coordinator. We don't know, so we hope to find that kind of stuff out. But I do think it's interesting, and I've said this before. I do think that what we're seeing right now is a major shift by Steve Ross of who he's listening to, and by listening to Dan Silman, his son-in-law, and Troy Aikman, the Hall of Fame quarterback. He has broken his previous pattern. You guys remember when he first bought the team, he listened to Carl Peterson, the former Kansas City Chiefs president and GM. Then he started listening. That was an executive. Then he started listening to the GM types, right? Jeff Ireland, Dennis Hickey, Mike Tannenbaum, Chris Greer. That didn't work. Now it's a couple of kind of football outsiders, if you want to say that. And Silman and Troy Aikman is definitely an insider, but he doesn't have any executive experience. So I do think that Steve Ross figured out what I've been doing is not working. Let me try something different. So I will give him credit on that. We'll see how it works. I've got faith in Sully and Half. But I think it's important to point out that Steve Ross is trying something different here. He's making a change.
Well, I'll tell you two guys that had nothing to do with our draft this year, Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel. We know that at least, right?
That's right.
We know that. So, Perk, last time you were on the show, we're speaking of Pittsburgh just before. You shared a crazy funny story with us how you ran into Troy Aikman in the bathroom in Pittsburgh.
That's right.
I mean, that was a good one. Now, on a serious note, what type of role have you heard of? What type of role that Troy may have moving forward with the Dolphins with this new regime, or nothing really going on yet?
Stuff is going on. I think that Troy is a behind the scenes kind of a advisor, but again, this is something that we don't know yet. So we know that Dan Silman asked Troy Aikman to be in the GM search. They liked what Troy had to say. They invited him back for the coaching search. And so you have to think that kind of by proxy that Troy Aikman knew that Sully wanted to hire Half and they wanted to get Malik Willis. So I'm thinking that Troy was in favor of the Malik Willis thing. I don't know what else Troy has had major input in, draft or should they draft a quarterback this year? They did make sure to tell me that they still consult Dan Marino on quarterback and wide receiver draftees. So I don't know exactly what Troy has been doing, but, Troy has been on a couple of podcasts, right? And he did say that his fingerprints are on this rebuild. He said, I don't know what they want to call it, but I'm rebuilding a house in California. I'm tearing it down to the studs. That's what the Dolphins are doing. My fingerprints are on it. So Troy at least feels some responsibility for what's going on here. We don't know exactly what his role is yet, though.
Okay, well, I don't mind having him around. That's one guy. All right, so the draft was 3 weeks ago. I feel like it was just yesterday. I'm loving, getting to know these guys on and off the field, everything that you guys are sharing, their backstories, because it's one thing who they are on the field, but we also like to get to know their stories off the field. And you've seen the rookies this past weekend in minicamp. And so I want to know your overall thoughts on this rookie class under John Eric Sullivan, his first year as a GM. Do you like it? Is it one of the stronger ones, you think? So what do you think so far?
I gave him a B- on the draft. And look, the last draft, 2025, I gave the Dolphins a D. So this is an improvement.
You're doing better.
You're doing better. You're trending in the right direction. So look, I think there's a few turning points on this draft. Obviously, Caden Proctor, the offensive tackle in the first round, when you could have had Caleb Downs or Reuben Bain. Look, here's what I've said about this is that, Sully said that he was once advised in the draft, take the double off the wall, don't necessarily go for that home run. Yeah. I think that they think that Caden Proctor is the double off the wall and that Bain would have been the home run or maybe the feast or famine guy. So I've said about Caden Proctor, I think his floor is Jawan James. I think his ceiling is Laramie Tunsil. I don't think Caden Proctor is going to be a washout by any means. I think he's going to be a good NFL tackle. Is he going to be a Pro Bowler? I don't know, but I think he's a good pick. You go to the second round, Jacob Rodriguez, solid pick. You obviously have Jacob Rodriguez, Terrell Dodson, and Jordan Brooks, who all play that kind of middle linebacker, weak side linebacker in this 4-3 setup. Do they have a strong side linebacker? Maybe it's Willie Gay, but I don't know anybody else. Strong side, you need kind of that burly guy who can stop the run. So we'll see what they have there. Third round, look, I love Chris Bell. I like his Merrick. We'll see about Caleb Douglas. Fourth round, Trey Moore and Kyle Lewis. Kind of hybrid type of guys. And so when you talk about a 4-3, are they linebackers or safeties, defensive end or safety? Or I think that I think that Hafley is going to play kind of a hybrid defense. So I think Trey Moore and Kyle Lewis will find their spot. So as far as the rest of the draft, I guess we'll see what those guys can do. I kind of like Max Llewellyn, the seventh round defensive end, but I think that the most important thing to me is they stuck to their conviction. And, you could say what you want to say about Jacob Rodriguez when you already had C-Dot and you have Jordan Brooks, and the guys taken right after him were two defensive ends. You remember Zion Young from Missouri and Derek Moore from Michigan. But they did BPA. They were convicted. So B- on the draft. I think it'll turn out to be a solid draft.
Excellent. So we were at the Dolphins draft party down in Coconut Grove.
Oh, yeah.
We had a great time. It was a really good time. Weather was perfect. It was on the water. And, we're there and they're announcing the picks and everything.
Right.
And we're like, and we're like, oh, this guy's gone. This guy's gone. And Noah went, right? He went to the Giants under Harbaugh. So that kind of stung because that was one of the ones that I personally want other people as well. So then at that point, at the 11th spot, you really had Caleb Downs and Ruben Bain, and we know the switch with Dallas. And then we still, at that party, we're throwing up the U. Ruben Bain's coming down here, right? Everybody, Ollie Gordon was there. Like, we're all, okay, you want to switch with Dallas? Let him get Caleb Downs, Ruben Bain, and then obviously, it's not Ruben Bain. So I want to ask you, do you think the Dolphins are going to have any regrets not taking Caleb Downs or Ruben Bain at that 12th spot? Or 11th or 12th? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Again, I think that Proctor is going to be good. It's just are Downs or Bain going to be better? So again, I don't think this is a feast or famine. I don't think Proctor is going to be a bad first round pick. He'll be, and I don't mean to throw Chop Robinson under the bus or KG. I think he will be better first round picks than both of those guys for what that's worth. But is he going to be better than Caleb Downs or Ruben Bain? I can't answer that right now, but I do like the Proctor pick. By the way, and I've been saying this also, Proctor could end up at tackle as a rookie. Now, you remember that Sully only said on the Joe Rose show that we will try him at left guard initially. He will cross-train. He'll be one of the biggest guards in NFL history, along with Mekhi Becton, Jonathan Ogden. There's a guy in with the Giants, Daniel Faila or something like that, who's 6'7" and 360. But at Proctor's size, 6'7", 350, you don't see many guards that size, and there's a reason. So I'm glad they're trying him, but there's a chance he ends up at tackle, and maybe Austin Jackson gets kicked back inside the guard where he played as a rookie or second-year player.
Second year.
Second year. Yep.
That's where I think that may be leading to it. So we'll see. But so, Perk, you were there. First of all, whoever's watching this over at Extra Twitter, make sure you come on over to YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. We are joined by the great Chris Perkins from the Sun Sentinel, and you were out there this past week, and you saw these guys live, up close and personal. And you mentioned one of those guys, the number 12 overall pick. How big of a man is Caden Proctor? Seeing him up close in person, how big is he?
Lou, he's a big man. He is a mountain of a man. So I will tell you, he's as big as some of the biggest Dolphins I've seen, who would be like Bryant McKinney. Richmond Webb, yes, one of the biggest. Calais Campbell, Daryl Gardner. big, just like
Wow.
big, like tall.
Big guy.
Big boy.
He is. But you know what? I'll tell you this. He looked light on his feet. Now, we only saw them for like maybe 30 minutes on Friday. And for the most part, it was doing calisthenics and doing some drills. It wasn't even one-on-one. They weren't going up against anybody. They were going against air. But I will tell you, Proctor looked slim. Proctor looked light on his feet when he was doing drills and everything like that. He was not slow by any means. He looked both quick and fast. Now, again, no pads, no opponent, but that's better than looking fat and slow, right? So I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged by what I saw from Proctor. I like what I saw from Trey Moore and Jacob Rodriguez and Kyle Lewis, the 3 linebackers. They were working together. Like what I saw from Chris Johnson, the number 27 pick, the cornerback from San Diego State. You know, it's funny. We talk about Proctor, and I didn't even mention Chris Johnson when I was going over the draft. Proctor is the one who gets, you know, he's kind of everybody's got opinions, good or bad, but I think everybody likes the Chris Johnson pick. I like the Chris Johnson pick. Yeah. I think he's going to be a good player. I like what I saw of him out there. So, you know, and I'll say this also, here's something else that I've been saying is that when we saw them on Friday, it was like May 8th or whatever it was. What happened on Friday as far as players running routes and looking limber, that's not going to matter in September and December when you're into the regular season. What will matter from May 8th is the standard that Hafley sets and letting the players know we don't go for any BS. You got to be on time. You got to bust your butt. You got to hustle in the drills. To me, and that's what this season is about, you're setting a tone. It's about culture. And so that's what was important about the rookie mini camp is this is how the Dolphins are going to operate from here on out. It wasn't necessarily how the guys looked running the routes. It's did you understand what the coaches were telling you that this is the style that they want? This is, you always have to hustle between drills, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, to me, I think that's what the importance of rookie mini camp was.
Yeah, perfect. And then, so we talked about Proctor and the mountain of a man that he is. Another, you know, a thing that went viral was, and again, Sunset did a great job of the pictures that were being posted, fresh pictures, right, you know, right after it happened. But another big story and topic was Jacob Rodriguez's neck. I mean, does this neck get credit for a side tackle if he gets it, like, or something? Because how big is that neck?
And the mustache too.
And the mustache too.
The neck, the mustache, the hair. You know what they used to call Zach Thomas Fred Flintstone because of the way he was built, and that's kind of you know Jacob is almost like that, right? That short, thick neck and the kind of the broad shoulders and the thick chest and. You know, kind of a stocky, stumpy dude, but Jacob looked limber out there. Look, and you guys know I'm from Texas, and so I wrote late in the year about all the Texans that were on the team, from Brewer to Brooks to HN to Patrick Paul to Quinn Ewers, and now we got a new stock of Texans, so y'all know I like that. But I liked what he showed me from a just movement and kind of loose hips and all that kind of athleticism. Look, we know the guy can ball, right? We've seen him play. We know the numbers. Like, this guy is a ball hawk. And again, you know, he looked good, and it's the underwear Olympics, but it's better than looking bad. So again, take it for what it's worth, but be encouraged. When I say these guys look good, that's better than them looking bad, right?
And you mentioned Texas. We know you're a Texas guy. And this year, and here's the thing. Like, I just want to kind of.
Can I say something really quick?
Yeah, I'm going to finish my thought.
No, you got it. We're actually going to talk about the Texas connection. She's going to get to her in a second. Yeah. But you mentioned the ball hawks, and a guy like Zach Thomas, who had so many, turnovers for touchdowns, right. And Xavier Howard, had 33, I believe, second on the list to Jake Scott in interceptions. There's something to be said for guys that have a knack to find their way to the football, and definitely Jacob Rodriguez did that last year at Texas Tech. And Chris Johnson also, as you mentioned, had a lot of takeaways, INTs, and pick sixes. So we need guys like that. Something that's been lacking here for a long time.
Yeah, and you know what, Lou, let me tell you this also that, when we look at this defense and we consider what Jeff Hafley said, Haf said when we asked him, are you going to be predominantly 4-3 or 3-4? He said, I will look at the athletes that we have and then we'll determine what we can play. He's going to play to the players' strengths. And so when you see guys like Trey Moore and Kyle Lewis, who might be a little undersized, when you talk about ball hawks and guys who can play, all right, I know this dude can ball. Let me figure out how I can take advantage of that. Let me create a role for him. So, when you talk 4-3 and 3-4, you're in nickel a whole lot. They could also be in some type of hybrid where Kyle Lewis is the big nickel. And when a guy like Darren Waller who creates mismatches, right? Kyle Lewis, you're on Waller. Jordan Brooks, you can do something else. Kyle Lewis, you're on Waller. You take this dude down, and so I think that's kind of the way the defense is trending, more toward hybrid, situational, specialized stuff.
Definitely. So I'd be remiss if I don't say, a lot of us are Canes fans. We love Mario Cristobal. We love the run last year. And the Canes had a lot of players going into this draft. And I don't want to say it was disappointing that none of them ended up in Miami, but the narrative fit. I mean, they had players that would have worked here, but this turned into like Texas, Miami here. So with the Dolphins drafting 5 guys from Texas, 3 of them from Texas Longhorn, and 2 of them from Texas Tech, the Red Raiders. Is this going to be like the new Texas? Are they going to be bringing some barbecue and some Texas toast here?
Perk, what you was trying to ask, Perk, are we the Texas Dolphins? Is that what's going on here? Tell me.
What's going on here?
Is this coincidental? Tell me.
I mean,
yeah, you are the Texas Dolphins, and I like it. So I might have told y'all the last time I was on here that, like a couple of years ago, if you wanted to start a fight in the Dolphins locker room, you could just say, now, who has better football players, Texas or Florida?
Yeah.
And Tyreek is going to jump in, and Jalen Waddle is going to jump in, and everybody's going to go back and forth. So we'll see this year. I might try to, throw a match on that pool of gasoline and walk away, in front of Achan and Patrick Paul and some of those dudes, and just kind of walk away and see what happens. But they are the Texas Dolphins.
Yeah, but then you'll also have like Richmond Webb, Texas A&M, and then you'll have Zach Thomas. I mean, can you bring some of our OGs? I mean, even the OG Texas. I mean, I don't really
Daryl Gardner was Baylor. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
There were some dudes. Now there were some dudes from. And look, I don't want to disrespect like Mike Pouncey or some of the other guys who are from Florida. Let's give some props to the Florida guys, but I'm partial. So you know what I'm gonna say.
So where I'm from. I'm a Jersey girl in New York, and let's talk a little bit about the Jets, right? So the Jets up there in the land of New Jersey and New York, they gave the running back Breece Hall. He just signed a 3-year, $45.7 million contract, which is like $15.2 per year. And so what does that mean for Devon Achane, who loves it down here, but what's going to happen with that?
We love him down here. We want him to stay.
He loves it down here too, okay? Let the truth be told. He's happy here too, unless he would have Tyreek out of here. So what does Bryce's contract extension with the Jets mean for – what? Breece. Sorry. What does Breece's contract extension with the Jets mean for Devon Achane down here?
I don't think it means anything for Achane because this is kind of what I figured that Achane would get. If I'm not mistaken, I always thought that the James Cook contract for Buffalo was what Achane should shoot for. And if I'm not mistaken, he got 3 for $48 with $30 million guaranteed. And so I think did Breece Hall get $29 million guaranteed? I think so. I think that's right. But anyway, those contracts are kind of similar. They're kind of what I think Achane should be shooting for. And look, at his heart, Achane remains a 191-pound running back. So the longevity for those guys who rely on speed, it's probably 6 or 7 years. This is going to be year number 4. So if you're the Dolphins, don't give him like a 4-year contract. Give him kind of like a 3-year deal, which is really a 2-year deal. And if you want to extend it to the 3rd, then you can do that. But I do think you have to be a little bit careful with Achane. Again, 191 pounds. He's going to continue taking hits. I think the best way to go about preserving Devon Achane is to develop Jalen Wright and Ollie Gordon. And so you don't have to give Achane 30 touches a game for 17 straight weeks and then say, okay, now the playoffs are here. carry us in the playoffs, Devon, because he's going to be a little worn out. So I think if you can minimize those touches and 20 to 22 a game and initially, and then kind of ramp it up as the season goes along, that's the ideal. Now, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth, right? Like Tyson said.
Right.
But I think you really have to manage Achan's workload because of his size and how he is effective, which is that speed and shiftiness that the more hits, the more that goes away.
And even with Devon Achane, I just want to say, since everyone else is gone, that's like the only safe jersey to buy right now. So hopefully he's getting a little bit of a royalty off of his jersey sales, because who else jerseys are we going to wear him this year? True story.
But along those lines, and you just saw the defending champion, the Seahawks. They're now the defending champs, but they let their star MVP running back go and Kenneth Walker. So it just tells you that. The running back position is in a flux. It's always been in this league. That you just mentioned the 7-year shelf life, and sometimes it's not even that much. So, where the onus is on paying these guys and what the value of a running back to an NFL team is a lot different than other star players in other sports. He's so good down here. To me, he's like our version of Marshall Faulk that could do it with his legs and catch. He does it all. And so we'd love to keep him here, but. As you mentioned, is the meter's running on him, and are we going to be ready to win by the time he's exiting his prime? And so that's the goal there. So
I agree.
Yeah, and I'll say this also, that when you look at this team, I hope that the big overarching strategy, and I'm going to get into Malik Willis. I can't believe we've gone this far without talking about Malik. But
it's coming.
Right?
Let's do the next question. I know we'll have that coming up next. I know it's coming.
Yeah, but no, this is the draft. It's draft time, so we're talking mostly rookies. But with Achane and with Malik, I hope that the big overall picture from Hafley is to kind of do what Seattle did. Where you can, Sam Darnold is not a Hall of Fame quarterback, but they won a Super Bowl with him because they had a good run game. They had a good defense. That's what Philly does with Jalen Hurts. And really the last Super Bowl that Kansas City won, that's they had that defense working. And so I hope they build a complete team, and not just a Malik Willis, not just the Tua to Tyreek type of a team, but a complete team that can win with defense, that can win with your edge rushers, your pass defense, your cornerbacks, your secondary, your run game, with your deep passing game, with your quarterback, that there's a variety of ways that they can attack and win games. I hope it's a more complete team, and I think that it will be.
Our buddy Desi asked, what can I do with my two Tua jerseys, my Gesicki jersey, my Waddle jersey? Just going to stick with, Desi, there's a foundation down here called Camilla's House. They clothe and feed the homeless.
There you go.
We donate there weekly. So if you do have any clothing
Send
donations,
them
to us, and I will make sure they get to Camilla's House. We are big supporters of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And so
don't burn it. Do not burn it, though.
Also, Russ, our friend Russell Hutman from Fall River, Mass, also chiming in, and they're waiting on the Bijan Robinson deal. Do you think that's what the Dolphins may be looking at as well? What Bijan gets paid by the Falcons?
Ooh, man, Bijan might be more than Achane, because Bijan is that guy, right? He is that real workhorse type running back. By the way, Fall River, that's where Emeril Lagasse is from. But anyway, I know that's such an odd fact for me.
Someone's hungry. Perk's hungry.
Exactly.
You're hungry too, I know.
Yeah, I like me some Emeril Lagasse. But,
we do too.
Yeah, I think Bijan, he's in a. I don't want to say that he's more of the Saquon Barkley, but I think he kind of is the Derrick Henry that you give it to him a bunch of times and he's going to be the workhorse. I think Achane is more a part of the offense, and Bijan is kind of more the feature. Even though, do you understand what I'm saying? That Achane is the feature, but like I said, you need to kind of manage his workload. I think Bijan, you can kind of run him into the ground more, like Saquon or Derrick Henry. But I think Achane, you kind of need to manage his work a little bit more.
Okay. And speaking, we brought up Bijan Robinson. We're in the Atlanta chapter here. Now, Perk, this is a safe zone, but so I want to ask you, with Penix out and Tua getting this shot, basically with the Dolphins' money, How do you think Tua's going to fare in a very bad division? By the way, that NFC South.
This is not in the notes.
We'll get into that in a second. But do you think Tua can rekindle his career here at all? Or what do you anticipate him doing?
That's a great question.
Okay, look, I'll tell you just like what I've been saying. If they don't put it all on Tua, if they let Bijan Robinson do some work and they let Kyle Pitts do some work, you got a chance. You've got a chance that you should be, I would say, no worse than 500 at the worst with Tua. I don't know what the Falcons defense looks like off the top of my head. So I would say no worse than 500 and probably a couple of games. I wouldn't say that for the Falcons. I would say no worse than 500 with Tua. And look, I don't have a whole lot of faith in Michael Penix. He hasn't shown me a whole lot yet. And so, I had said this about Tua, that what I respect about Ryan Tannehill is that he came to the Dolphins and, he wasn't going to be the starter immediately. David Garrard was going to be the starter, but then he got hurt late in camp. Tannehill got named the starter as a rookie, took the job, didn't let it go. Tannehill goes to Tennessee. Marcus Mariota gets hurt. Tannehill takes the job, doesn't let it go. I think that could be the thing for Tua, because, Tannehill here, it was Ryan, throw these deep passes and get all these guys, Mike Wallace and Brian Hartline and all of this, and that wasn't Ryan Tannehill's thing. His thing was hand it to Derrick Henry. We'll go to the AFC Championship. I think that's more Tua's thing, right? You hand it off to Bijan, you throw it to Kyle Pitts. You can ride them, as opposed to Atlanta going because of Tua. They go with Tua.
How crazy would it have been? I mean, last year we went to Atlanta. We held a trip out there. We beat the Falcons. But can you imagine if it was 1 year later? Those tickets. If we were going this year to Atlanta?
Yeah, but look,
that would have been a primetime game. They would have given us primetime there.
But as you mentioned, Perk, playing in a very winnable division, now inside a dome, which, by the way, he won a national championship there for Bama. So, maybe he does rekindle himself. I don't see him, revitalizing his career to the extent that was, the hype when he got drafted originally, but he landed in a good place to do that. So we'll see how it works out. But all right, so moving on from Tua and his replacement now, Malik Willis. We talked about Breece Hall signing that 3-year deal with the Jets. Yeah. Well, Malik Willis signed a 3-year deal, as everybody knows by now, with the Dolphins. $67.5 million for those 3 years. 45 of that is guaranteed. So, Perk, what is Malik going to get the full 3 years to prove himself here, and what does he have to do, or maybe not do, for Sully to draft a quarterback next year or the year after?
Because they're already calling for Manning. They're already calling. I mean, that's all you say. Manning. Like, what is it?
I think you got to look at this from both ways. So, if you are Malik Willis, that I need the ball right away. Because if the Dolphins finish 4 or 5 wins, they're probably going to draft a quarterback just to kind of see. Now, on the other, so that's from Malik's standpoint. From the Dolphins' standpoint, if Malik balls this year and next year, he's going to want $50 million or more going into 2028. And party time with all this free money, you've got to think how the contracts are going to fall, right? So if you do Achane, let's just say they do Achane, Brooks, and Brewer this year, then you do Patrick Paul next year, and then you do Malik the year after that. Well, now that money that you're going to have starts getting chewed up, and you're almost in the spot as any other NFL team. So with Malik, there's kind of, there's kind of this thing of you need to get things going fast from both standpoints, from a league standpoint and from the team standpoint. I don't think you want either side to win. You want both sides to win here. So again, to me, you kind of do the Seattle, Kansas City, Philly thing where complete team and the defense can win. I don't know what they have in Malik. I wasn't a big fan of the Malik signing. I wish him well. I think it can work out. I wanted them to get like a bridge quarterback like a Kirk Cousins this year, and then get your starter next year in 2027. But again, Malik, I just haven't seen enough from Malik. He's got a good skill set, and what I've seen from him is promising. It's encouraging. again, don't think you're going to turn him into Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes. Think that you'll turn him into Jalen Hurts or Sam Darnold or Jared Goff, right? Like I say, there's a reason that Jared Goff has been to a Super Bowl and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson have not. Right? We know who the better quarterbacks are, Josh and Lamar, but Jared Goff was on a more complete team with the Rams when he went to the Super Bowl. He was on a very complete team with Detroit when he went to the NFC Championship. So I hope that's the model that Hafley follows with Malik Willis.
Perk, I agree with so many of your takes. I mean, even with this quarterback thing, I wanted a veteran quarterback who still had a little gas left in the tank, right? Just let's get by. Let's have this rebuild. And I'm with you 1,000%. All right, so let's bring it home. The schedule gets released this Thursday. We look forward to it. Obviously.
I don't know if you heard about it or not, but the schedule's coming out. It's coming out this Thursday. It's a secret. It's a secret right now.
It's such like a big thing. And then Lou last week was like, I tweeted and he was like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't really know, but I think so," because you just really never know.
Everybody knows now, though.
So that's official. We obviously take it very serious because we have 305 Sports Travel, and let's just be real. We planned our wedding 2 years ago around a Dolphins away game. Don't roll your eyes. What are you rolling your eyes about? The wedding game?
It was a Seattle game that we lost. We traveled across the country to see him score 3 points.
We could have got married. We could have got married in Disney World. We could have done the Disney World thing too. So, anyways. And so the schedule's coming out Thursday. I'm kind of hoping for that Mexico City game, but regardless, we're projected to have like the second or third toughest schedule this year. It's gonna be bad. Here, I'll pull it up. I got the schedule. Yeah. So continue on that thought. It's gonna be rough.
Yeah, so look, we got the bad luck of
Kansas City's coming here.
We got the bad luck of Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes going down last year. So those teams fell into the third place spot along with us. But those are obviously playoff contenders, Super Bowl contenders for that matter, in those two quarterbacks. So we got the tough draw there. Then, as we mentioned, last year we had the NFC South and the very, team that Carolina that got in with a losing record last year. This year we got to deal with the NFC North, who has all four teams that could win that division. So it's very, very difficult to see the Dolphins. It's a gauntlet of a schedule.
I'll pull up the schedule here. I got you.
Super tough.
Or not the schedule. Who we're going to play. I don't know the leaks. I don't have the leaks.
They're used to the opponents.
The opponents.
Projected by many as the second toughest schedule in football, which is unfair. But looking at this lineup and all these opponents, a true gauntlet here, the group of death, if you want to call it, in World Cup terms. How many wins do you see on here? How many can they pull out?
Okay, so here's my deal with this, and I'm probably going to write a column about this week. Don't look at the victory total. Look at the players that they get. And don't root for the Dolphins to lose. Don't root for 3 wins so you can get Jeremiah Smith.
We don't do that here. No.
Good. That's a loser mentality. I hate that.
No, we don't do that.
Yes, good. So here's what I think you should look at. Look at the type of player that they get. And are they physical? Are they aggressive? Are they kind of that hybrid player? From the rookies, do they have that one skill? So like last year when I was looking for Kenneth Grant, give me one skill. Can you take on double teams? Can you stop the run? Can you rush the passer? Show me that one skill, and then we can build off of the rest of it. So to me, that's what you're looking for from this team this season is what do the Dolphins have? And then next year is the year that you make your move. I don't want to root for a 3-win season because that means a lot of the guys that you thought were going to be good were not good. You were better off winning 8 games and picking number 16 because that would mean you overachieved, right? Malik probably had a good year. Chop probably came alive. Sabaya Naya probably came alive. KG probably came alive. You probably found at least one cornerback, right? If you win 7 or 8 games, think of all the positives that means. And so you don't need the number 2 or 3 or 1 pick in the draft. You're fine with picking 17 or whatever. They've got 9 picks off the top of my head in next year's draft. Yes. You'll be fine if you win 7 or 8 games. If you win 6 games, that's positive, but just don't root for the 3-win season and think Jeremiah Smith is going to come in and be your savior. Because if you win 3 games, you've got bigger problems than any one man can fix. So root for your team to win, root for your team to have drafted the right type of player. And then next year is the year that you want to make your move.
Love it. Perfectly said. I want to re-ask my question, though, here. So let's bring back Malik into the picture.
Yep.
Looking at that schedule again, how many games do you think the Dolphins need to win in order to avoid drafting a quarterback early? So, how many – at what point do you look and say, go ahead.
That's a great question.
What do you think?
No, don't look at Malik's numbers. Look at how he plays. I think 6 wins to give you a number. You remember Flo won 5 games in 2019, right? The year that they terrible, just got their butts kicked in those first 2 games. And I remember a particular writer in the press room looking at the rest of their schedule and going, they're going 0-17. Who can they beat? Pick out the team. And it's not always about that. It's about how do they play. And you remember Flo's teams always started off bad and got stronger as the season went on. I think that would be good for Malik. Not that you want him to start bad. You want him to finish the season strongly. And so I think that that's what you're going to look for from Malik is, I would say probably 6 wins is probably in that area. But how did he play? And not even necessarily touchdowns to interceptions. Did he make good decisions? Did he know when to stay in the pocket and when to use his legs? Could he get the team fired up? Could he get guys to be better, play a little bit over their heads? Was he a good leader? This is the type of stuff that I'm talking about when I say don't look at the Dolphins' record, look at the type player. Don't look at Malik's stats. Look at the type of performer he is. Is he a leader? Can he make chicken salad out of chicken bleep? Because that's pretty much what his assignment is going to be this year. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. But no, that's a great question. Do I think probably 6 wins? You're out of danger, and then below that, you might get somebody in the first 3 rounds. And if you're talking 3 wins, you're probably talking about a first-round quarterback. Probably.
And obviously next year the quarterback class is going to be stronger than it was this year. So you have a little more to grip from as opposed to.
No doubt. A lot of people thought that Simpson was a reach, especially with Stafford still going strong. Like, how long is he going to mentor him? This does happen. Jordan Love, there's a lot of mentoring that has gone on in the NFL, but still
let's just hope for the best.
Drafting early. So we'll see how it goes. All right, Perk, let's have some fun. And first of all, I want to once again mention, if you're watching X and Twitter, make sure you come on over to YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. But I want to have some fun. We want to, we got a new segment that we're doing especially for you, Perk. And with AI and all these things these days, we created a little, thing
don't
here
laugh
that we want to
too
bring
much.
up. So try not to laugh at this.
It's so crazy.
But
Lou uses my millennial skills to do this kind of thing.
So our segment's called Pulling Up a Perk. A couple of a couple other words there could have maybe not sounded as well. Maybe a paternity suit with those words. Sorry.
We don't want that.
All right, then we are in our cars. We're pulling up. We're on the highway. We're pulling up a Perk. We got some questions for you.
We're on the MacArthur, actually.
On the MacArthur. There you go.
Yes. Perfect Season Road. It's a detour because obviously we're going to go nowhere near that this year.
Well, we could make a U-E and go back and find our way there eventually.
And then I put 24 just because that's our lucky number. So that's the whole. And then you in the convertible and us in the convertible. You should not be driving because you're not a good driver, but you get the thing. All right, so we're going to ask you some questions. Some about football, some about not. It's pretty much the first thing that comes to your head. You just spill it. Give it to us.
You ready?
Right, perfect. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Right.
Let's go.
You're in the press box. You're in a press box. What are 3 foods or snacks that they better have in that press box unless you're going to be mad? What's your favorite 3 snacks or food in the press box?
Oh, man. So here it's the key lime pie. I love that they have these little individual servings of key lime pie.
Beautiful.
Love that. When I go to Boston, they damn well better have some clam chowder, which they always do every year. Got to have that clam chowder. And then probably number 3, if I go to Houston, I want some barbecue. I want some brisket. That's what I want.
Oh, you're such a Texas boy. You love your barbecue.
I do.
All right, so bring me back to Little Perk. Who's your favorite athlete growing up? Who was that guy that you had the poster in the room?
Any sport.
that you had the poster in the room, right? Who's your guy or girl?
I can give you a few of them. So I had an Earl Campbell poster growing up when he was at the University of Texas. I had a George Gervin poster. He had an old poster when he was sitting on a throne of ice.
Iceman.
Ice. Yeah, the Iceman. So it was a Nike poster. And, Nike had those great posters back in the 80s. They had a bunch of NBA players dressed in judges' robes, and I think it was called like Kings of the Court or something like that. I know Moses Malone was in that, but those were two of my favorite posters: the Earl Campbell and the Iceman George Gervin. Yeah.
And everyone had their starter jerseys. What team was your starter jersey? Who are you rocking out?
Oh, man, I was a Raiders fan. I was a huge – so now, y'all know I'm old. So I go back to the Ken Stabler, Dave Casper, Fred Biletnikoff, Jack Tatum. Back in those days, Cliff Branch, Otis Sistrunk. So, yeah, I love those Raiders. That's when I was really repping the Raiders, man.
I can't believe you go back that far. That's nuts.
Yeah.
The Raiders prevented the Dolphins from three-peating. The Sea of Hands game at the old Oakland Coliseum, had it not been for that, the Dolphins would have very likely have done the three-peat. And to this day, it shows you how hard it is to win in football. No NFL team has won 3 in a row in the Super Bowl era. So it tells you everything you need to know how good those Dolphins teams were. All right, moving on to the next one. Best and worst sports venue you've ever been to.
Any sports, any venue.
Ooh, man, gosh. Off the top of my head, I'm going to say the Vet is the worst now in Philly.
Uh-oh.
Now, look, I have a great appreciation for the old stadium, so I say that with great reverence. I love the OB. I covered games there when I covered UM. I love the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. Covered games there when I was in Dallas. Love the Rose Bowl out in California. Covered my first Super Bowl there when the Cowboys started, when they beat Buffalo. So I love the old stadiums. But, yeah, the Vet, man. The Vet was just an armpit. I loved it, but I would have hated to have attended a game there. The best,
Your favorite.
Well, boy, Soldier Field in Chicago is great. You know what? And I did love Atlanta's Mercedes Stadium, right? Are they Mercedes or?
They're Mercedes-Benz Stadium now.
Yeah. So that's an incredible place. Minnesota is an incredible place. When I covered the NBA, I loved going to Sacramento because the fans were right on the court. Now, I will say this. I never stayed in Sacramento. I stayed in the Bay Area, which was just an hour and a half away because I'm like, why am I staying in San Francisco and in Sacramento when San Francisco is 90 minutes away?
We agree.
But the fans are right on top of you, and they're passionate and they're loud. Well, back in the day they were. This was back in like the early 2000s. So,
great teams.
Great teams.
Doug Christie, Chris Webber, Peja, Mike Bibby.
Exactly.
I love Mike Bibby and Doug Christie.
Yeah, Bibby, yeah. So those were the great teams. Yeah.
All right, we got a couple more here for you. So, best athlete you've covered for sound bites.
Ooh, man, that's a good one. Now, obviously, I covered Shaq. So that's a good one right there.
That's a very good one, I'm sure.
Very good one. Channing Crowder was really good. Channing Crowder was really good for soundbite. He was like must-see TV when he was speaking in the locker room every week. Dwayne and LeBron weren't that quotable, but what they said had impact. Pat Riley was absolutely fantastic, obviously on a lot of levels, just from what he said had weight. He was a Hall of Famer. He had a bunch of knowledge, from playing for Adolph Rupp and all this kind of stuff. So he was another good one. Tyreek, as nutty as he is, or was, he was he could be a great quote also.
That's crazy.
Just because he was so unpredictable from when he said that Mike McDaniel's bleeps are so big he needs a wheelbarrow to cover him, to carry him to I'm out, bro. You never knew what was coming out of Tyreek's mouth. So the unpredictability of Tyreek was a lot of fun.
Love it.
Yeah, it probably never kept you bored with that. Switching gears, non-sports, what's a hobby you have outside of sports that maybe people would be surprised that you like or do?
Oh, God, cooking. Easily. So I'll tell you this. So, I mentioned Emeril Lagasse. I probably watch as many cooking shows as I do sports shows.
No
So like,
way.
yeah. I love to cook. So yeah, I'm always
Do you have a
doing
brother?
something.
Do you have a brother, Benny? A single brother?
I know. I got an older brother, but he's married. He lives in England.
Oh,
Well, that's not gonna help me.
Yeah. But yeah. So I make everything. I love cooking soul food. I made I'm perfecting my picadillo recipe with turkey, with ground turkey. That's my favorite Cuban dish, which sounds strange, but it's just ground beef and rice. But that's my favorite Cuban
You
dish.
might want to marry Perk. You better watch out. Lou might want to marry you. You might, Lou. I mean,
I love the guy, but not like that.
Lou, I mean, you're talking your language, though. I literally have leftovers from 3 days ago on the stove. I
Is
mean,
that right? There we go. Yeah, I love to grill. So yeah, everything: breakfast food, lunch food, salads, everything. So yeah, cooking is definitely that's my number one.
I got 2 more for you. Season's over. You get to go anywhere. Cancun, obviously, is where all the players go. But what's your favorite vacation spot?
I love the Caribbean. I love Europe, but I love the Caribbean even more because you just sit out on the beach. You can have a drink. You can have some great food. You got the now it's hot down there obviously, and when I go, it's going to be June or July because that's my off season. It's gonna be ripping hot, but I don't give a damn. I love the Caribbean. I love the people. I love the beach. I love the attitude, the food, and all of that. I'm hoping to go to Madrid in like another month. We'll see if that works out. Did Paris and London in 2023. Been to a few spots in Europe. I love Europe, but it's the Caribbean definitely.
I'm with you. I'll go to DR 24/7, 365.
Yep.
There's nothing like DR. All right, last one.
We got 2 more. Favorite movie of all time?
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, oh boy, I don't know what my favorite movie of all time. I'm not a movie guy, and the movie.
I'm not either.
Oh man, the movies that I have not seen would amaze you. From like Titanic, I just saw The Godfather all the way through for the first time, like maybe a year ago. So I know, Lou. This is sad. This is a really sad topic. People get frustrated when I tell them these stories. So yeah, a lot of your Miracle on 34th Street, or you go through like all the different genres from horror movies to anything. Have you seen this, Perk? No. Have you seen
I'm
this?
with you.
No.
I'm the same way. This
Thank
one
you.
knows every lyric, everything.
Right.
I'm like, if it's in the 90s, I didn't see it. I was a baby. And Titanic, I did see. That was the first like bad movie that came out, and I wasn't supposed to see it, but like all the kids and stuff. So I did see that one. But I can't sit there that long. I get my ADD, my ADHD. I'm with you there.
That's it. So, but
All
I'll
right.
tell you this now. My favorite TV show of all time is Sanford and Son.
Oh,
No
perfect.
question, easy number one. So for what it's worth, that's my
There you
favorite
go.
TV show.
That is a great one.
A
Come on.
classic.
Yeah.
All right, last one for you. Since we're jolly old, that's kind of a giveaway. What's your favorite holiday? What do you like? What do you like? You Thanksgiving, July, Christmas, 4th of July?
Thanksgiving. I think that Thanksgiving is the happiest holiday. It's the one where the expectations are lowest, right? You for the birthday or for Valentine's or for Christmas, you better come correct with that gift, right? And you're going to be judged. And for Thanksgiving, everybody is pretty much happy to see you, whether you bring some food or not. Everybody's happy to see you. You gather. You might have some family arguments. Who cares? But everybody is pretty much in a good mood. It's not. I love 4th of July and everything like that, but I'm a Thanksgiving guy. I like New Year's. I'm a Thanksgiving guy, though. Bring me the food, bring me the football, bring me the fellowship, and everything will be everything.
That's in my top 3. Cannot argue with you whatsoever. That's amazing. So, all right, listen, we had a great time pulling up a Perk. I mean, come on, we got some good answers. So thank you for playing. We appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me. I like that. I like that game.
Fantastic.
Yeah, got to know you a little on and off camera and cooking. That's amazing.
That's it. Yeah.
So Perk, let everybody out there, everybody should know by now, but let everybody know where they could find you and what you got coming up, all your great work. We're here for it all the time. We appreciate everything you do, and let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks again for having me. I apologize for the technical difficulties that I had. You can find me on Twitter at Chris Perk. You can find my work at sunsentinel.com. Dolphins Deep Dive with Perk will be out for the next 3 Thursdays at noon. We're usually on Tuesday, but the schedule for the next few weeks allows Thursday at noon being the best for us. And again, like I said, I'll probably have a column coming out soon focusing on don't look at the Dolphins record, look at make sure they have the right player. That's the biggest thing. And don't root for the Dolphins to lose. You know, I understand, 4 wins and the number 1 pick. I'd rather have 8 wins and the number 16 or number 17 pick. So that's kind of what the column is going to say.
Fantastic.
And we just get into the worst moves when the Dolphins lose. Like, I can't deal with you all season. You can't deal with me. Like, that's a lot of therapy right there.
I got to read that column. When's it coming out so I can start my process now?
We're going for wins.
Right, we're going for wins. It'll be out late next week. We're going for
Perfect.
wins.
Okay, we'll look forward to seeing that. And once again, Perk, thank you for joining us. I know you've been very busy. Thank you for taking some time out to come on with us. We greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you soon, hopefully down before training camp starts.
And that training camp, we'll sweat our butts off and see him at camp too. You know how that goes.
Exactly. All right. We'll see y'all.
We'll see you out there, Chris. Take care.
Appreciate you.
All right, Perk. Well, he's the best.
He's
Absolutely
amazing. He's so much fun. I really enjoyed getting to know him. Outside of sports, like the cooking thing's amazing. And DR, like, he likes Caribbean.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like movies. Like, I feel like if you and I, like, he's like a mixture of both of us.
Yes.
We love movies and everything.
Yeah,
okay, before I let you guys go, as we mentioned before, the NFL schedule does get released on Thursday. There's going to be leaks, but do not believe every leak you hear, because we did that last year and thought we were going to Pittsburgh in September, and sure enough, that game was December. We have an idea as 305 Sports Travel, the cities that we want to go to, but we won't release anything. We won't even hint anything until we see the schedule. So again, here are the opponents. The big rumor is the Mexico game, possibly against the San Francisco 49ers. That would be like a November, December thing. But then everything else is fair game. So guys, Thursday again is when the official NFL schedule gets released. There are leaks being out now, but don't believe everything you see until it is officially released on Thursday evening.
And they'll be coming out though, but the official schedule will be released, as you mentioned, 8 p.m. on Thursday, so we'll wait for that. And again, thank you guys all for joining in the room. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, Russ says,
one more thing, guys, one more raffle going on for Ian. We have, sorry, look at me. Let me remove this. Let me just add this here. Okay, give me 1 second here. Just want to share this. This is the newest raffle. We have another Richmond Webb signed jersey and a picture. I can't do it. There's too many pictures. Hold on. Let me just do this. Give me 1 second here. Okay, perfect, guys. Here it goes. All right. So a brand new raffle for Ian. You have a chance to win a Richmond Webb signed jersey and a signed picture. Ian will be going on his family cruise next month. So all the proceeds will be going towards any excursions that him, his family, his wife, and his daughters do. This raffle will be pulled on June 6th. And so, guys, please continue to support him. He's fighting cancer for second time with the bad liver, and a beautiful Richmond Webb jersey and signed picture can be yours.
Future Hall of Famer, we're hoping. So, definitely get in a raffle, and a Richmond Webb jersey and signed picture can be yours. So, that's definitely a great cause for a great man, or good friend, Big E Strong. So, that's pretty much what's going on. We're gonna be on Thursday evening once the schedule is released. It's not gonna be a long show, but we're just it'll just be a get together just to break down the schedule, get your thoughts. We already know the opponents, but we'll know the actual breakdown. What are going to be cold weather cities that we need to go to, and when in the season we're going to be playing our division rivals. So definitely tune in on Thursday or check us out in the replay and see what our opinions are, and share your opinions with us as to what you think that record will be. I just want to end on once we know that schedule. Coming the fact that we went to Kansas City negative and then Pittsburgh, I just want to put it out there again. I would really appreciate not cold games in cold places in December. Okay, I just want to put it out there. Listen, I just want to put it out there. That's fine, but the way that the NFL structures its schedule now, you get division opponents to start and division opponents to end. So it's very likely that either Buffalo, the New York Jets, or the New England Patriots will be during the winter months.
I think we'll end in
it's just the
Gillette.
odds.
I don't know if Bravo will be there, but
well, that's a good one. Yes, I don't know if Bravo will be there either, but we ended in Gillette last year, so I don't think we'll do that this year. But you'll never know. We'll have to find out Tuesday. So, but in the meantime, Thursday. What did I say?
You said Tuesday.
I meant Thursday.
That's a fake leak.
I apologize. Guys, thank you guys for joining us again. Hit that like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel. Thanks again to our amazing guest, Chris Perkins. Perk. Definitely follow him on Twitter. Read the Sun Sentinel. He does great work. And until next time.
Until Thursday,
we will see you then. Have a great week ahead. And we'll see you in a couple days. Take care, guys.
Thursday. Bye, guys. Have a great evening. Adios, mi amigos. Vamos a la México.